Hello, this is Shirley. Today we will talk about data management. The way we're living in our world today, we are bombarded with data and information. We all get a lot of junk mail, magazines, newspapers. We read a lot of emails, getting text messages, writing text messages. We have tweets. We have posts on Facebook. A lot of information is generated by us. We also have information and data that is generated by machines like RFID tags, GPS, and other machines. So overall, we have a lot of data. In fact, if we looked at various studies, IDC had a study that showed that the amount of data that was generated, captured, and stored grew about 10 times during the last 5 years. IBM had a study that showed that on a daily basis we are generating 15 petabytes of data, which is about 8 times more than the amount of data that we have stored in libraries across the US. And if we're just looking at the number of text messages that we have today on a daily basis, we have more text messages than the number of people on this planet. So overall, we have a lot of data. So we have a lot of data, and we have a lot of computing power, and we have a lot of bandwidth to transmit the data. But what do we do with this data? We want to do something meaningful with the data. We actually want to be able to look not only at the pixels, but also to see chunks of the puzzle, and hopefully get a whole picture, or at least be able to predict how the picture is going to look, so that we can actually draw some conclusions or be able to make smart decisions using the data that we have. Whether we're in the financial industry, healthcare, retail, government, it is critical to have the right information at the right time so that we can make better decisions. However, various studies show that we don't always have the information at hand. 1/3 of our time is actually used to search for information. And an IBM study found that a large number of managers either make decisions without having information, don't have confidence in the information that they have on hand, or completely use incorrect information. So the study also showed that 1 out of 3 managers actually make decisions without having the information they need. So as managers, we really need to have information that is accurate, that is relevant, that is organized in a way that is easy for us to access it. One of the issues that we need to consider is the quality of the data. I'm sure you're familiar with the term garbage in, garbage out, and so some reports when you ask yourself, where did this data come from? One of the companies that I talked to was looking at their customer data, and for some reason they noticed that most of their customers are accountants. They were starting to dig into the data, and when they looked at the call center, they saw that the people sitting at the sales rep were actually filling out the reports using a pull-down menu, and they didn't think that there was really any importance of this data and simply chose the first option. Apparently, it was accountant. Another issue that we need to look at is how we code and we capture data. If we're looking, for example, at names of companies like IBM, P&G, SAP, we can capture these names in different ways. In particular, since about 80% of the data we have today is unstructured, this is a particularly important issue. Other issues we need to look at is our security, privacy, and most importantly, access policies. Who can view the data, who can edit it, who can delete it. Okay. Let's assume that we dealt with the different issues of how we store data, how we code data, and we're now looking at the next step. What do we do with the data? How do we use the data to make decisions that are smarter and better and quicker? Phone companies are facing the challenge of customers that are leaving and switching to a different company. This is what we call churn. In order to solve this problem, companies want to find who are the customers that are most valuable and to make sure that they don't switch. Are these the customers that are spending the most money? Apparently it's not. A phone company that digged into their data found that the most valuable customers are those customers that are influencing their friends and families. And if these customers stay with the company, then most likely all their network, family and friends, will stay with the company. So by using business analytics
the phone company was able to reduce the amount of churn and keep the business in the company.
One of the tools that we are using is what's called business analytics or business intelligence. In this unit, we will look at different examples, one of which will be the Hara case, in which Gary Loveman, who used to be a Harvard professor and is now the CEO of Hara Entertainment, is actually using the culture of business analytics to compete with big names like Donald Trump and Steve Wynn. During this unit, while you're reading the text, watching some videos, and discussing the case, I would like you to think about your role as a manager with business analytics. Whether it is committing to fact-based decisions, embedding business analytics and business intelligence in processes, making sure that the information and the conclusions are communicated to other people in the organization, having the right people and the right processes in place. Business analytics is blending the fields of mathematics, technology, business, and behavioral sciences. It's a growing field, and we're just reaching the tip of the iceberg. I hope you will enjoy this unit as much as I do.